Oh, Winston Churchill, the price of greatness is responsibility. That's why most men dread it. Guys, I know what it's like not to be raised by a father. My dad was an alcoholic in and out of our lives. He was the Disneyland dad. You guys remember the Disneyland dad during the summer times? What? Oh, you're the dad that goes and see the kids during the summertime and you take them to Disneyland? And that's the memory.
Wow.
But he wasn't there with the discipline, with the example, with the support, with the leadership. But I didn't use that as me being a victim. I just know exactly who I don't want to be.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because a single mom raised me. God bless her, incredible, living in Simi Valley. Before I moved, I bought her a house, car. She's been retired many years ago. She's on my payroll. Never has to worry about money. And I take care of my family, right? So there's got to be one in the family to become a leader. Oriana's a leader. Rivera wants to be the leader, right? Yama's the leader. Cordova, a lot of our leadership, right? Mario wants to become a leader. Some of you guys here wants to become leaders of your family. Does that make sense?
Yes.
There's got to be one. I refuse to be the example I never had. Does that make sense?
Wow.
There's rules. So I'm going to cover some of these rules, and it begins with your identity. Men are designed to lead, period. So maybe I'll give you some examples as far as men not leading, but I'll talk a little bit more about why men need to lead better. Look, we already know the bullshit taking place in California, the LGBT movement, which I'll talk about. I have nothing wrong with LB. Vivek said it, LBG. And Vivek said it, but you guys know Vivek Ramaswamy, right? He said, I have no problem with L and the B and the G. But where did the F and T come from? And why do we have to have drag queens in schools? Does that make sense? Yes. But if us as men don't speak about it, you're part of the problem.
Yeah, yes.
It makes sense. We have to break that from all these weak men who don't want to speak up. Men need a lead, period. And it begins with your identity. It's okay if you don't have the identity today that you want to have. But it's not okay if you're sitting in a room here, you're not taking notes, you've never been exposed to this, you're not where you want to be financially, fitness, mentally, spiritually, and you remain the freaking same. You are part of the problem, and then your kids, your generation, will be forgotten because you did nothing about it. Wow. I'm not okay with that. Nope. So if you want to run with some of us, you want to run with a PVD. You think PVD's got high standards?
Yes.
Yeah, PVD's got high standards. Yes or no? Yeah, coach has kicked my ass. He's challenged me. We've cried together. Oriana's and I. Our guys have cried together. We've shared emotions because we had to have breakthroughs. Right? But I had a freaking coach in my corner, kicked my ass, told me when I'm being lazy. He said, Jose, you want to win? What about that single mom you want to retire? You want to quit now? What about that single mom you want to retire? Either you're going to live a life of regret or a life of sacrifice. Either you're going to have temporary sacrifice or permanent regret. What weighs more? So my coach will say that. Some of you guys will say, oh my God, baby, if I could only meet him. You don't want to be coached by that. You're not ready for that. Either you're going to live a life of pleasure, of temporary or immediate gratification, or you're going to live a life of sacrifice, okay, temporary sacrifice, or you're going to live a life of regret. What weighs more? Sacrifice or regret? Could you imagine you grew up one day and your kids come to you and say, Mom, Dad, I know, right now they're 5, 6, 7, 8, they're naive, they're cute kids. But you know what happens when your kids turn 15, 16, 17 years old? They find out you're lazy. The most annoying thing is when your kids grow up and realize Mom is lazy and Dad is lazy. That's why we don't have the house that we want, the pool that we want, and then your kids resent you. Could you imagine that? That's tough to swallow, isn't it? Yeah. My dad's irresponsible. Why is my dad overweight? One day Oriana said, oh, Daddy, why are you chubby? My kids come to me, Daddy, you don't have a six-pack. And I'll show you before, I was bigger, right? Not that I'm in the best shape right now. And you know what I tell my kids? You just told me I'm chubby? My little freaking 7-year-old? Let me slap you right now, right? I'm going to show you. I'm going to get into shape, right? And the point I'm saying, guys, there's an identity. At a certain point, you had an identity. My identity until 25 years old, a dropout, bill collector, hanging out with my buddies from 13 to 24, 25. Those guys I talked to you guys about that I love, I cared about them. I've invited them to come hang out with me. They refused to grow. Either you're gonna downgrade to be accepted by the people that you know about, that know you, or you're gonna upgrade. Make sense? And you have to make that decision. Fair enough.
Yep.
I'm just reminding you guys of where I come from. Guys, I've messed up many times, many times. You follow me? But I just want to remind you, I wanted to change the way I saw myself. And some of you guys are making those changes, and I freaking applaud you for that. So no matter how hard you try, you cannot consistently behave in a way that's inconsistent with how you see yourself. So ask this question, who am I? Your answer is the one that will drive you to do and how you act. In order to protect our identities, the face we wear alone must be the same as the one we wear in public. Without consistency, our lack of identity will impact our character and in turn our talent. Sound good? So can we all improve our identity?
Yes.
Yes. And it's okay to change it, guys. It doesn't matter if you're 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. You don't have to say to yourself, oh my God, today I'm 50 years old. I've been a truck driver my life. For the rest of my life, I want to be a truck driver. But today I'm 40 years old. I've been lazy. I don't work out. I oversleep. I don't take responsibility in the household. But I'm going to change it. Does that make sense? It's okay. You just got to do it. Anybody know who started KFC? What's the name? KFC? Right, how old was the guy? He made a decision at 60-something years old. Does that make sense? You got to work on your identity. So let's talk about men and their identity. I'll ask you some questions, guys. Are men leaders of the household? Yes or no?
Hell yeah.
Okay, great. So for those of you guys, anybody who's married here? Married? Okay, awesome. Who wants to get married? Awesome. Come to our offices.
Hoy no, pero menos sí.
Hey, yes or no? I got a wife in the business. Okay, you're respectful, you show up, you dress up, you improve. Because we tell the girls, hey, listen, they don't got a ring, you don't even talk to them. Okay? They don't have a ring. Okay? They're not making money, don't talk to them. Okay? I'm preparing you guys, single guys. So if we lead the household, how do you lead the household? Are men supposed to lead the household? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so how do you? It's funny because back in the day, we were having lunch earlier with some of the leaders. We're saying, guys, what did they do in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, right? What did men go out there and do to go out there and provide for the family? Freaking hunters. Could you imagine today?
Protect and provide.
Could you imagine all of us are back in the 1600s, 1700s, and we want to go bring food to the household, right? And we're freaking looking for freaking, I don't know, cheetahs and tigers and something to go prey, right? To prey on. And then what do you say? What do you think your woman and your kid said back in the day? And you come back with no food. And you say, I was scared of rejection. It was hard. I was scared. What the F happened today? Right? Where today we're scared to talk to people.
Yeah.
We're scared to network. We have air conditioning. Does that make sense? What happened to the freaking men? What the men at, bro? What do you mean you're scared? You should be scared of looking at your bank account and you're freaking negative. You've been negative. You have nothing in savings. And you're 40, 50 years old, you got nothing in savings. You know how scary that is? That is freaking scary. Does that make sense? So I'm going to cover some of the areas where we got to lead. Are men the main providers and protectors? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now later I want you to process, how do you provide and how do you protect? Okay? Because some of us I don't understand this concept of a stay-at-home dad. Sorry, no disrespect. Some of you guys are stay-at-home dads. If you are, with all due respect, I don't understand that. Do you think there were stay-at-home dads back in the hunting days? Hey, wife, honey, go hunt.
I'll stay with the kids.
Stay home and, what is that? Does that make sense? So we need to bring back men again. Yes? Bring back men again. And this is why when you're around alpha males and you're here long enough, we're going to remind you that that's all that fear you have is freaking BS. You don't got to be. What are you scared of? Watch us go. Out there prospecting with your guys. I love that. Prospecting, meeting people. That's called leading. That's what you do. Are men passive or aggressive? Aggressive. In Cali, it's a little bit different. I'm sorry, man.
No, it's not.
Yeah. It's interesting, guys. Are men more confident with money?
Yes.
Hey, this idea of like, hey, I don't handle any of the money. My wife handles all that shit. She handles all the money. Do you know what happens to your confidence as a man when you don't know where the money's at? You know what happens as a man? You know what happens when you have money and you stack the money, you put it in your safe, you got 10,000, 20,000, you have $100,000 in a safe, and you have other investments. You know what happens to your confidence? How do you walk? Well, you can look at people in the eye. When you don't have any money, you're like this. Does that make sense? So you got to make a shift. You can't be like, hey, my wife handles finances. We'll talk a little bit about that. But when you have control of money, you know where your money, when you can make the money, you know where it's going. You have your investments. You have full control of that. This idea like I don't handle the finances because I'm not good with money is BS. Imagine the moment when you run out of money. Who are you going to blame? Hey, honey, I make the money. I bring in the money, right? I bring in the money. And your wife says, well, we don't have any money. What are you going to say? It's your fault. You're handling the money. You're responsible. No, you're the irresponsible for not managing the money. Does that make sense? And you need that confidence, man. We'll talk a little bit about that. Our men stay-at-home dads, I mentioned that earlier.
Some of them.
Okay? If you're one in here, you guys, no offense, it's just you're gonna lack some confidence. You're gonna lack some ability to go lead your family when you're relying on your woman to provide. Are men scared of pressure? Again, I gave you guys some examples already. Are men supposed to work less than women?
No.
Are men scared of rejection? But you still are. Because when you talk to go prospect people, make phone calls, you're still scared. Don't we all want to overcome that? Yes or no? Yeah. By the way, doesn't it even sound a little bit ridiculous that we're even talking about this? Because you're like, dude, I'm a man.
Yep.
Yes or no? Machista. Yep. I'm the guy in the household. Make a phone call. I don't want to make the phone call. Go talk to somebody. I'm scared of rejection, bro. You gotta grow something. Should men lead their marriage and family?
Yes.
Yes. Guys, the last 4 years, have you guys seen a breakdown of the family? Have you guys seen a division where men can become women? BS. Have you seen how they want to take our kids away? Have you seen how they want to confuse our kids? Yes or no? Yes. We can't let that happen. We can't let that happen at all. And should men lead spiritually? Yes. Now, can we all improve? Yes or no, man?
Yes.
I'll just give you guys some reminders that if we just improve in those areas, guys, it's not about the money you're making right now. It's about the influence you're having on your kids and then your wife and your last name. Make sense? It's about your last name. I don't know about you, but if Pat would say, when you pass away, you have a funeral. You have maybe, let's say you have some kind of influence. 100 people show up at your funeral. Okay? Year 2 on your anniversary. 50 people show up at your funeral. Year 3 on your anniversary. 20 people show up to your funeral. In year 4, you're forgotten.
Yeah.
Anyone heard of Dale Carnegie?
Yes.
Carnegie? There's a book, I'll talk about it. It talks about 38 letters. The 38 letters. Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men in the world, with everything he built, he writes letters to his kids, and you'll learn more about it. But it's about how you want to go lead your family and be remembered. Integrity. Let me continue. When values, thoughts, feelings, and actions are in alignment, a person becomes focused on his character is straightened. Integrity is crucial for any leader. With it, leaders avoid confusion and internal conflict. It allows leaders to follow a balanced path where character and talent work hand in hand. With an aligned moral compass, integrity can aid in building a strong foundation upon which talent can rest. Interesting, the company that acquired us is called Integrity Marketing Group. It's now integrity.com. But we can all work on our integrity, guys. We've all made some mistakes, yes or no? Yes. But you can either live with those mistakes or become a better person, period. Okay? I don't want to harp on this too much. Let's talk about the perfect storm. Perfect storm to confuse our kids. 3 areas. Young men are raised by distant and passive fathers. Fathers who rarely engage their families. Irresponsible fathers. Anybody know of any? Yes or no? And it's okay if you have been a part of that. You have maybe multiple marriages or multiple kids. Just make a better effort. Does that make sense? My biggest pet peeve is when I meet men who are not involved with their kids. It's the most irresponsible thing you could ever do. Does that make sense? Like that's your seed, man. How do you let a woman? Again, it's personal because I didn't have my dad in that picture. I don't want to hold any regret from my father or regrets or animosity, resentment. I've forgiven him, but he's insignificant in my life. Does that make sense? Because a single mom did it all herself. But for all the men out here, you got to go make an effort. This is your last name, your seed, you name it. I mean, that could change